Now, before I go too much further into my personal story, I want to pause for a moment and ask you to think about a time in your life that things didn't really work out as you had planned. Maybe it was some sort of traumatic event or big change that happened in your life that you might not have even seen coming, and it knocked you flat on your behind. We can probably agree that it's not the last time you're going to experience some sort of change at that magnitude. And so today I'm going to share with you three tools that you can implement into your life that will help you come out the other end of that change or event that will allow you to be more joyful, open to new possibilities, and even more resilient than you are today. Being a dual military couple is not for the faint of heart. It is challenging. Eddie and I got married. We moved back to the United States, and we had a son also named Eddie. We continued to support one another as we both focused on our military careers. And that often included really long periods of time apart. More often than not, that looked like 12 to 15 months of time where Eddie was deployed on a combat tour or involved in some sort of military training, and I was home juggling my career and the family. Eventually, though, the time came where I was going to deploy for 12 months. And coincidentally, I would be deploying to Afghanistan around the tail end of a current combat tour that Eddie was on in Afghanistan. And so the plan was that our children would only be without one of us for a very short period of time, which brought us both peace. Unfortunately, though, things didn't really work out quite as we had planned. Late one evening, when I was in Afghanistan, I was notified that Eddie was involved in a very tragic accident. He was on one of his last patrols for his time in Afghanistan, and he stepped on an IED. The IED exploded, and Eddie lost his left leg right away. When I was notified of this event, Eddie was fighting for his life. He was on his way to the nearest hospital, which just so happened to be a several-hour plane ride away from where I was at. I remember that plane ride so vividly, thinking about how our lives were going to change. They had changed, but that I was going to be by Eddie's side every step of the way. And he was going to be that guy in a few years who was running the Army 10 miler with a prosthetic leg. And I was going to be right there by his side. Unfortunately, when I arrived to the hospital, I didn't see what I expected to. There were no tubes or machines. Eddie was laying there peacefully. He had passed away on June 24th, 2010, just minutes before his 35th birthday. Now, as you can probably imagine, everything changed in the blink of an eye, and the days, weeks, months, and even years following the loss of Eddie were very, very challenging. But when I think back on those times, there is one thing that is crystal clear to me and that I remember very vividly, and that's the support and love that I received from so many people close to me, people around me. And if there's one thing that we know about resilience and resilient people, it's that they understand the power of connection, the power of relationships. And so I don't take that lightly, that I had those handful of people that stood by my side, reaching their hands out to me to help me get up when I was ready.